Good morning, students. We will discuss clinical entity of hepatic coma today. Now, as we define it as a neuropsychiatric syndrome, impaired intellectual function and personality, along with neuromuscular abnormality and recurrent alteration or disturbances of consciousness in a patient of liver disease or portosystemic shunting. So therefore, hepatic coma, we first will grade it. Grade 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 is unconscious patient, is deep, cannot be aroused, which cannot be aroused. In grade 3 patient is unconscious, drowsy, stuporous, but can be aroused. While in grade 1 and 2, grade 1 is intellectual deterioration, personality changes, irritable and alteration in sleep rhythm, can be detected only by a physician who knows the patient earlier. Confusion, disorientation, hysterexis, clinical hysterexis is grade 2 hepatic coma, while patient become unconscious or drowsy, stuporous, unconscious or loss of consciousness, but can be aroused, grade 3 hepatic coma, and in grade 4 the unconscious patient who cannot be aroused. Now, hepatic coma can occur in acute liver disease as well as in chronic liver disease. In acute liver disease, when it occurs when there is no pre-existing liver disease, which is acute in onset and short history, it is called as fulminant hepatic failure. While patient of chronic liver disease who underwent unconsciousness, cirrhotic coma or chronic portosystemic encephalopathy, where there is a pre-existing liver disease and onset can be acute or chronic, there is a long history and recurrent history, both endogenous and exogenous drugs precipitating factors are there, while in acute fulminant hepatic failure, mostly precipitating factors are endogenous. Now, endogenous precipitating factors is as a part of natural history of the disease, patient may go into the coma, azotemia, GI bleed, infection, constipation, diarrhea, and electrolyte imbalance and hypokalemia are the endogenous precipitating factor, while exogenous precipitating factors are mostly iatrogenic, diuretic overuse, parasynthasis, more use of sedatives, and excessive protein in diet are exogenous precipitating factors for hepatic coma. Now, pathogenesis in fulminant hepatic failure is there is a massive hepatic necrosis with alteration of blood-brain barrier, where there is influx of toxins, there is a brain edema, false neurotransmitter, there is decrease in excitatory neurotransmitters, where there is an increase in inhibitory neurotransmitter like serotonin, GABA, octamine, and phenylalanine. Imbalance of amino acid, increase in aromatic amino acid and decrease in branched chain amino acids are seen in these patients. Short chain fatty acids, valerate, octreate, and butyrate are also deficient in these patients. Now, pathogenesis in cirrhotic coma is that ammonia direct inhibition decreases energy, decrease alpha-ketobutyrate, and decrease blood flow in these patients. Mercaprans produce metabolism and methionine by bacteria, glutamine, alpha-ketobutyrate, controversial, phenol, zinc, false neurotransmitter, short chain fatty acids, and increased aromatic amino acids are seen in these patients, along with gut-derived endogenous toxins which are responsible for hepatic coma. Now, if you go for neurophysiology and neuroanatomy in these patients, there is a decreased blood flow per 100 gram brain tissue, there is decreased oxygen uptake per 100 gram per minute, decreased glucose uptake and per 100 gram per minute decrease. In hepatic coma, in first 24 hours all are increases, but beyond 24 hours all are decreases to 25 to 50%. There is alteration in blood-brain barrier, neuronal degeneration, astrocyte shows type 2 Alzheimer changes, increase nuclei and decrease cytoplasm, no mitosis, and pass positive granules, inclusion bodies. Pyramidal tract degeneration is also seen in these patients. Now, fulminant hepatic failure is acute in onset, while cirrhotic coma have both acute and chronic onset, where precipitating factor is mostly endogenous in fulminant hepatic failure. They are both endogenous and exogenous in cirrhotic coma. History is short in fulminant hepatic failure, while it is usually long in cirrhotic coma because of the long liver disease. Past history of liver disease is not there in fulminant hepatic failure, as by definition it comes in patients who do not have pre-existing liver disease, while past history of liver disease is there as a cirrhosis and is positive in cirrhotic coma. Jaundice usually is deep, mild to deep in cirrhotic coma. GI bleed is very common because along with variceal bleed there can be a stress and impaired coagulation in fulminant hepatic failure, while variceal bleed and other causes are there in cirrhotic coma. Sepsis is common in both And multi-organ failure like pancreatitis, metabolic abnormalities are more common in fulminant failure than cirrhotic coma, while coma grade is usually severe in fulminant failure, while it can be mild to moderate in cirrhotic coma. Chronic photosystemic encephalopathy. Chronic photosystemic encephalopathy, psychometric test design, block matching, apraxia chart, Pretty's number connection test, aesthetics, alternate sleep, irritability, violent and unconnected, unexplained action are the various grades of hepatic coma. Now, Foetus hepaticus seen in some patient with methylmercaptan, dimethyl sulfide, easy, high voltage, slow wave, triphasic, and slow voltage, slow wave are the sequence EEG changes in these patients. Other causes contributing to encephalopathy are CO2 narcosis, drugs, trauma, hypoglycemia, hyponatremia, and mixed edema should be excluded. Now, clinical picture Foetus hepaticus, we have discussed this slide. Now, treatment: stabilize vitals of the patient, BP, respiration, cardiac and renal status, IV fluids to avoid dehydration and electrolyte imbalance. In fulminant hepatic failure, give 2 to 3 liters of the normal daily requirement, more if dehydration is there, less if renal failure accordingly. Give sodium if hyponatremia is there, avoid sodium if ascites and dilutional hyponatremia is there. Give potassium if hypokalemia is there, and to meet daily requirement 80 to 120 milligram per day. Avoid potassium if renal failure. Calcium, vitamin C, multivitamin, trace elements as per requirement. Oral feed through rice tube for nutrition, antacid, lactulose, locally acting antibiotics. Nutrition: 1600 to 1800 calories in form of glucose round the clock to prevent endogenous breakdown of protein and hypoglycemia. Restrict all protein when coma with recovery. Start half dose, then full dose, and titrate requirement. Role of vegetable proteins and branch chain amino acids, solutions, and albumin. Fat only when TPN is to be given. Daily requirement of electrolyte must be given. Antibiotic to control infection. Systemic antibiotic to both gram-positive and negative coverage. Help to various culture can be taken to select antibiotic. Gut-specific antibiotic: neomycin, rifaximin, anaerobic cover, metronidazole, and role of pre and probiotics, saccharomycin, boulardii, and lactobacillus are given to these patients. Gut lavage in cirrhotic coma, bowel wash, lactulose, oral lactitol, oral lactobacillus, and pre and probiotic. Avoid gut lavage in fulminant failure unless there is a GI bleed. Otherwise, more electrolyte imbalance may precipitate coma more deeply. For irritability, oxazepam, temazepam, and haloperidol Serenase can be used. For brain edema, steroids have no role. IV mannitol 1 gram per kg, IV rapid infusions. Zinc, treat multi-organ failure, pancreatitis, DIC. L-dopa-role, bromocriptine in a study protocol. Sodium benzoate, sodium phenylacetate are occasionally tried in these patients. Thank you.